Hey, and welcome to the world of Vimeo. I'm Julius, and today I'm going to explain everything you need to know about RFID and how to implement it in Vimeo. Just a quick note, what is RFID anyway? It refers to a simple sender-receiver system. When both components come together, the receiver recognizes when and with which sender it is dealing. The sender has an ID that the receiver can read. You can use this system with viewneo to trigger special content, like showing it when a connection is established and when it's no longer there. For example, to display it when a connection is established and when it's no longer there. For example, I have a specific product that's equipped with a sender. This is an RFID stick-up or tag. Useful information about the product could be displayed on a screen for me as a customer, and that's how it would look in practice. So far, so good, but how do you set it up in Vimeo? In the shop, there's an RFID starter kit that makes it super easy to set up an RFID installation. The set includes an RFID gateway for RFID readers, which are the receivers, a power supply for the electricity, and 10 RFID tags, which are self-adhesive stickers that act as transmitters. The gateway collects all the information from the readers and serves as the interface to the internet and also the interface to Vimeo itself, which is how we can control everything. To set up and build it, we first need to connect the gateway to the power supply. Once we've done that, we'll set it up right in the Vimeo. So here we are in the CMS, and we're going to head over to the device section and select the RFID gateway. We're going to start the setup now really easily using the plus symbol, and we'll give a name to the gateway. Now we see an activation code displayed here. In the next step, we need to use a Wi-Fi enabled mobile device, like a smartphone, to look for a Wi-Fi hotspot that's named something like viewneo RFID. After that, there's usually a little string of numbers, and we'll need to connect to that. A smartphone looking for a Wi-Fi hotspot that breaks the name like viewneo RFID. After that, there's usually a little string of numbers, and we need to connect using those. Here it is. We're going to do that now, and in the next input field, we'll select a Wi-Fi network and enter the password here. Additionally, we now need to enter the activation code in the designated input field. And once the connection is successful, the RFID gateway will be shown as connected in the list in the CMS. Now we're just going to connect the receivers easily with a standard LAN cable. The readers themselves don't need a power supply because they get powered through the gateway's power supply. By the way, it doesn't matter which of the two Ethernet ports we use for the connection. So that would be how it looks now. For example, all set up. It would all be mounted under a tabletop, like we saw earlier with the coffee example. So I would turn this all around now. It's especially important to note that the first device, which is the gateway, and the last device, which is an RFID reader, both need to be set to terminate on. There's a small switch below the LED facing inward. All the devices in between need to be set to terminate on. Once we've done that, the gateway will automatically start looking for the connected devices. When all the LEDs on the reader are lit up green, the readers will soon show up in Open CMS. Of course, we can also rename these directly in the CMS. In the next step, we need to train our RFID stickers, which are our transmitters, so that a specific action is performed when a certain RFID tag is detected. So, when a product with an RFID sticker is held up to a reader, the ID of the corresponding RFID sticker needs to be read. We select our gateway under Devices now. Just right-click, and then click here on Learning Mode. Now we place the RFID tag on a reader, and when it's successfully detected, the individual ID of the RFID chip is read and displayed. Now you can assign a unique alias. This could be, for example, the product name of the item that will later receive this RFID sticker. This name will later be used to define the actions and event management that should happen when the RFID reader detects the sticker. You can place the scan stickers on any reader later. If they're captured correctly, you'll see a yellow RFID tag symbol in the CMS list of readers, and below the reader's name, you'll find the alias that was previously assigned to the scan sticker. I've already prepared that, of course. We have 4 imaginary products here. I've already assigned the aliases, so we have Product 1, Product 2, Product 3, and Product 4. And when I hold this all underneath, you can see right away, hey, it's showing up in the CMS just like that. So far, so good, that's all set up. But how? Do I connect the stickers with my desired content? For that, there are what's called playlist events. A quick introduction to the events. With playlist events, you have the option to expand your playlists with different triggers and actions. In addition, you can narrow down the trigger with defined filters. These playlist events consist of different plugins and can include various triggers and actions depending on the plugins you've booked. But before we activate these, we obviously need to create a playlist with the desired content first. We already saw this pretty well earlier with a coffee example. But of course, you can apply the whole process to various other retail businesses, like shoes or jackets at the pharmacy, or even drinks, like in the wine trade, like shoes or jackets at the pharmacy, or even drinks, like in the wine trade. For the latter, you could, for example, in the wine trade. For the latter, you could, for example, just simply place an RFID sticker under a wine bottle, and as soon as a customer picks up that bottle and positions it correctly, they'll get information about the bottle, where does the wine come from, what does it taste like, or similar questions could be, for example, information that would be displayed on the screen for the potential customer, which could also help them with their purchasing decision. I've also prepared all of this in the form of Vine templates. This is what they look like. And I'm going to put them all into a playlist for now. Once we're done with that, we go over to the Playlist tab on the left, select this playlist, right-click, and then choose Events. Now we need to create a new event. First, let's give this a name. I'm just going to name this after the product, so the wine. For the trigger, we're going to select RFID in the gateway that we set up earlier. Next, we need to set the filter here. As I mentioned earlier, with the filter, we have the ability to set our trigger to specific conditions, so the defined action only gets executed when the defined filter is met. In this example, I want the content to be immediately displayed as soon as the RFID sticker makes contact with the reader, so I'm going to drop the RFID tag name here. Then, right below that, we'll enter the alias for the sticker, which is named after the product. And right underneath that, we'll specify the desired action, which is to play the content. Now we select the desired player through which the content will be played. I've already set up a second signage box, so I'm going to select that one now. By the way, just a quick note about the signage box and how to set it up. You can find that up here in the info card or in the video description. Right below that, we're going to choose the content that should be displayed when the RFID tag comes into contact with the receiver. That was the template for product 1. And then we click on Save. We then repeat the whole process for each of our products. For each RFID sticker that should display specific content when it comes into contact with the receiver, I've already prepared that. So, I'd say let's connect a player, a screen, and see if it all works.
Before we do that, I've created a little starter template and added it right at the beginning of the Vine playlist, which is meant to draw customers' attention to our RFID installation. As soon as someone places a bottle of wine, symbolically shown here on the sensor, the relevant content will be displayed. When the wine bottle makes contact with the receiver, the relevant content will be displayed. I'm going to do that again with another bottle. Wonderful. For this example, we don't necessarily need 4 receivers since we've chosen to go with the content trigger sensor, meaning a wine bottle makes contact with the receiver. For example, we could have 4 recipients. Then we can use it when we already have 4 specific bottles on the sensor beforehand, and the customer only gets information when the bottle is removed. That would mean the content trigger sensor no longer has contact with the receiver. In the CMS, it's referred to as RFID tech lifted name.
If all of this was a bit too fast for you, no worries, you can find everything written down in our viewneo manual. You'll also find the link for more details in the video description. That's it for the RFID setup in viewneo, along with a little example. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.